Hi, my name is Rose Castillo with Crafty Night Owls. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today I wanted to show you how to make this shaker card. Now, shaker cards are just so fun because they shake. And anyway, I'm going to be using the Marquee Messages, and this stamp set is one that we were given when we went to On Stage in April at the Stampin' Up! Event. And to be honest, I was like, oh, why did they give us that set? I would have never chose that set. I would have never bought this set, just to be honest. And so I came home and I put it aside, and then my niece had a birthday and I needed to make her a card, and so I thought, you know what, that set would be perfect for her because she's a tween and it's just fun. And so I pulled it out and I made a birthday card for her, and then the next day I made another card with it, and then I've made a couple of shaker cards with it. And you know what, I guess sometimes those stamp sets just have to grow on you. And so I really like it. I think it's fun, and the fonts are different, and the sign here, which, you know, is just fun, is also really cool. And then I was on Pinterest, and that's when I saw somebody had made a shaker card with it, and I thought, oh, why didn't I think of that? So that's what we're going to do today, and let's go ahead and put this aside for now. I'm going to grab a couple of my pieces, and I'm going to be using my Stampin Pierce Mat to stamp on, because when you use photopolymer, there is no cushion under them like when you have a red rubber stamp. And so sometimes the image doesn't stamp very clear. And just adding this or something soft underneath it just really helps. So I'm going to ink up my stamp, make sure it's good and inked. And then I'm going to stamp this down right in the middle. Now I'm going to be cutting this out, so even if it's crooked or something like that, it doesn't really matter at this point. Voila! Alright, that's a good image. I'll put this away for now. And then I'm going to grab my Peekaboo Peach, and this is one of the new Stampin' Up! In colors. And I was determined to use this color on a project, and so that's why I chose it for this card. Ink that birthday up and stamp down. There we go. That came out really good. And then the next thing, and I'm going to try not to lose my acetate piece because that's something I tend to do because it blends in. It's clear, so it blends in, and then I go, where did I put that thing? Alright, I'm taking some Watermelon Wonder, and I'm going to stamp the It's Your. And we're just going to try and get this in the center, but if it's a little crooked too, this won't matter that much just because it's going behind behind our window. So there's that, and I think that is all of our stamping for today. Let's put that aside. Okay, now I did get an idea to color in It's Your with the Peekaboo Peach marker, and I'm not sure which one I like better. We'll see. But I have that out anyway. I'll put that with my window sheet. The next thing I did was I went ahead and I colored in these little lights with my Peekaboo Peach marker, and I just did it really quickly. Just even if there's a little bit of white in there, I didn't really care that much just because, you know, lights have that twinkle. So, and then after I was done with all of them, in the end, I ended up adding Stella to this because it gives it that little glimmer, and who doesn't like some glimmer? So I did that, and then I also added in some Watermelon Wonder right there on these stripes to bring in my other color, and this goes rather fast. Now the part that's going to take a little bit of time, and I went ahead and prepped this part, was, if you'll notice on my card here, along the edges of this arrow, I colored in every other one with the Peekaboo Peach, and then on the sign down here, I colored in with the black. And so that takes a little bit of time because it's smaller, So I went ahead and prepped that, and I also colored in these star shapes. So just to save some time, I went ahead and did that ahead, but I just used my fine tip on that portion because it has a smaller tip, and I colored those in, and it didn't take forever. But when you're on camera and you guys are having to listen to me ramble, I figured it was okay just to go ahead and skip that portion. The next thing I did is I took my cutting blade here and I cut out the center, and then I took my scissors and I cut out around the edges. I will speed up this process so that you don't have to sit here forever and I don't have to ramble and say crazy things, because I tend to you know, start saying weird words and words out of place when I'm on camera. I don't know why, but okay, here I go. Okay, that was not too painful and too long, but if you'll notice, when I was going around these little edges that stick out, I mean, I could have cut a straight line, but I like the detail, so move your paper instead of your scissors, and that really helps you get a clean cut and not so choppy. So anyway, that's just a tip. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some glue right around the edges of the window area. Okay, and then I took my acetate piece and I just kind of laid that down right on top there and let that dry. And then you'll want to also run your embossing buddy, if you have one, over it. And this just helps so that your sequins don't stick to it. Alright, so that's done. Okay, now that that piece is done, I guess that would be a good time to see, like, do I like that better? Or do I like this one better? I think I like the one colored in. And since I already have one like this, I'm going to go ahead and use my one that I colored in. Now I took a piece of 3 3/4 by 5 inches, and I ran it through my Big Shot with the large polka dots embossing folder, and to get that background. And I love polka dots, I've mentioned that before. And then I'm layering it onto a piece of Watermelon Wonder. And this is cut at 4 by 5 1/4. And let's just put this. If you've never used this Tombow multi-glue, you're missing out. Every crafter needs it in their craft room. Now, that's layered, and then I also took a piece of thick Whisper white cardstock and I cut it in half and scored it at 5 1/2, and I'm just going to add this to the front of my card base. And I have a little visitor in my craft room right now, so just give me a second. Okay, I just got interrupted by my youngest son. Did I tell you that I am a mom of 3 boys? Yep, it's always fun around here. Anyway, he was mad because he wants the dog to play with him, or he wants the dog to play with him. And the dog doesn't always want to. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to be using is these foam adhesive strips from Stampin Up, and they're really long, and so I cut mine in half just to kind of make it easier to handle. Now if I had a big project I was going around, then that would be perfect, but I'm going to use these shorter pieces to go around my window. And I kind of just went through and kind of measured a couple of different lengths and then used those. So, and then I just went along, oops, I don't want to stick that down there, just along the window area. And this is just to keep my sequence in pretty much. Oops. And go along this side. And then I have a couple of short little pieces here that I'll use. Along this area. And just make sure there's no holes so your sequence cannot fall out of them. And then, and these really do go a long way. I've already made about 4 or 5 shaker cards with them and how much I've used. So, okay, so that's ready for my shaker portion. And this is what I do. I lay my piece down, and I'm using some sequins that were left over from my paper pumpkin from June, because I didn't have any other types of sequins. I just ordered some though. It should be coming. And so I put them all right in the center, right there, and then I peeled off my backing from these strips. I get quiet when I'm concentrating, so you can always know when like something's taking some concentration from me. Alright, and then I just am going and placing this right over and pushing down. And there you go. There's my shaker. Now, this side right here does hang over just a tad, so I'm just gonna chop that off so that it's not showing. But other than that, it looks really good. And now all I have to do is put some glue on the back of this piece here and put it down. Okay. And I'm just going to put it right in the center, lining up this top edge. And there we go. Oh, how fun is that? Okay, the last step I did was I added my wink of Stella, and this is clear, so it just adds some shimmer wherever I put it, and it's real easy to use, and it just adds that little sparkle without having to deal with glitter, which is wonderful. Okay, I went over the word birthday. I'm going to go over this little star here, and then I'm going to go right over these little lights to add a little sparkle to those. And this will be just the little finishing touches on my card. Isn't it awesome? And so simple, and this glimmer just adds so much to cards. I love it. Alright, there we go. There's the end result of my shaker card. I hope that you like it, and just know that you can purchase anything that I used today on this card from my online store at www.rosecastillo.stampinup.net, and I would love and appreciate any orders that you would place through me. It just helps me to continue on as a demonstrator. Thank you for your time, and thank you for watching my video.